freuen wir uns auf den einzigen Starter Irlands. Ein Mann, der vor 8, 9 Jahren schon mal richtig gut auf dem PDC-Circuit unterwegs war, der sich trotzdem damals zurückzog, um 2017 wiederzukommen. Und es läuft wirklich richtig gut. Er ist inzwischen schon wieder unter den Top 70 der Welt. Er ist aktuell die Nummer 60 der PDC. Schön, dass er hier in Mannheim mit dabei ist. The Magnet, McGowan. Der heutige Gegner von McGowan hat sich in den letzten 2 Jahren unter die Top 10 der Welt gespielt. Er ist aktuell die Nummer 7 der Weltrangliste, hat ein starkes Jahr 2016 hingelegt, konnte unter anderem seinen ersten PDC-Titel holen. Das war in Riesa 2016 und er stand auch in seinem ersten Major-Finale bei den European Darts Championship. Letzte Woche ist er zum 2. Mal Papa geworden. Aus Wien, ladies and gentlemen, the gentle Suljovic. Caller dieses dritten Matches des Abends ist the Puppy George Noble.
Well, this evening, 2 seeds have already been beaten here at the Happy Bet German Darts Grand Prix in its new home of Mannheim. Well, new tournament actually. 3,500 fans packed in, and Suljovic will have been adopted by them because McGowan knocked out the last German player standing last night. Martin Schindler beaten by the Magnets. Yeah, those 2 seeds beaten Alan Norris and Kim Huybrechts, but in 2 matches that you probably wouldn't describe as shock victories for Darren Webster and Kyle Anderson. If McGowan can manage to overturn Suljovic, the number 3 seed, that would be some scalp. Paul Nicholson.
It would be some scalp, I think, for McGowan right now. And I echo your sentiment about it wasn't really a shock what's happened in the last 2 games, but what is a shock to the 2-seeded players is that the last fortnight they've not got any ranking money, and they have not defended anything from this time last year. So they've got work to do over the next couple of weeks before we go to Riesa.
Yeah, and a contrast in what we've seen so far this evening. Not the best game of darts ever between Alan Norris and Darren Webster, but a brilliant tussle between Huybrechts and Anderson, as Kyle Anderson is flying the flag for Australian darts right now, Paul. I'm sure you're a proud Aussie watching what he's doing right now, and he's just continuing to produce 100 averages and above every time he plays.
Yeah, every time he puts his hand in the packet of sweets, he's pulling out 100 average eclairs. Fantastic. And I said earlier in the season at Leverkusen that he was drinking from the cup of brilliant darts juice. Well, he's continued to do that in the last couple of months. Absolutely sensational stuff from the Aussie, and everybody back all over Australia will be watching and being very proud.
Got no idea where you Aussies do your shopping to find cups of dart juice and 100 average eclairs.
I don't have an answer to that, I really don't, without mentioning any brands. But Suljovic will be looking to rebound after last week. He was taken to school by Steve Beaton in Maastricht, and as a result of that defeat, he lost a total of 25,000 ranking points last week, which was not his best week. He's defending 10,000 ranking points this week, so he doesn't really feel that kind of pressure, Mensah, I don't think, but he'll want to perform really well.
174.
Yeah, it was around this time last year that he started to peak. Won a European Tour event before reaching the final of the European Championship itself.
McGowan.
I watched a lot of Mensa Suljovic this time last year, and he was absolute mustard. He was brilliant. He wasn't missing anything. He was involved in some brilliant matches. Double 14.
70.
Well.
Mustard added to the shopping list by Paul Nicholson there, but it's Mick McGowan at the checkout now.
Can he sweep to victory?
Like it, bullseye.
58.
Good line.
Too
Too much juice on the dart. Too much weight. Now, he can't miss it again. I'm not having it. There you go. Normal services resumed for Mr. Suljovic.
Take a leg, Mensa to throw first. Game on.
It was a strange old game for Mick McGowan in the last match of yesterday evening. Beat Martin Schindler 6-3.
140.
Averaged a shade above the wall, despite it being a 75-point average difference after a couple of legs.
140.
Because Schindler was on a 9-darter. Kyle Anderson was on a 9-darter twice in the last match.
He's getting closer.
We're getting closer.
He's just got to get that 7th dart, I think. I think that's the big key. But I've got to clarify something first
45.
and foremost for the guys at home. Suljovic losing 25,000 ranking points was off his Pro Tour Order of Merit, which is what we use for rankings to get into events. However, those ranking points are still valid on his world ranking.
Yeah, it's a 1-year rolling Order of Merit on the Pro Tour, but a 2-year Order of Merit on the world ranking.
Who's gonna get this 9-darter then?
You've got as much chance as anyone, Paul, to be honest, and I don't say that with any sarcasm.
Well, I was on a 9-darter today with Dan Dawson practicing away.
Yeah, I'll accept that you were on it. Dan's claims that he was on it are a little bit far-fetched.
Technically, he was. But there are a few people left in the draw who can possibly get that elusive 9-darter that we haven't seen in 4 years. We haven't even seen Peter Wright yet, or Michael van Gerwen.
Well,
Simon Whitlock.
If there is a curse on the European Tour, this is a new venue. It's a new tournament. Surely this is the time.
Same staff. So you're looking at the glasses half full, and I've just looked at it as glasses half empty, so I need to change my thinking. Speaking of thinking, that's what Mensa's just done, taking a bit of a breather, just to compose himself a bit. Bit of a lean in those 3 darts and a bit of a lob in that last one, but it worked. You looking forward to seeing Mensa Suljovic at Cardiff next week in the Champions League?
It'll be interesting to see how he goes on, because he'll be one of the names that's in contention for the Premier League next year, and how he performs amongst the best players in the world may well give the selectors a good guide to whether to give him a shot. That was a 97 out shot, and it's given him a 2-leg advantage.
Well, contrast Suljovic from now to last week. He looked uncomfortable last week, but tonight he just feels and looks a little bit better to me. And that 97 was as silky smooth as a 400 thread count duvet cover. It really was very smooth.
I know you're working on the coverage of the Champions League next week, Paul. Suljovic, could he be something of a spoiler?
I'd like to think so. I think everybody's going to be talking about Phil against Michael. Obviously, that group that he's in is absolutely dynamite. But Suljovic is the kind of guy who could just turn up and say, you know what, I've got nothing to lose here.
Well, the amount of hype that is going to surround Phil Taylor and Michael van Gerwen must play into the hands of the other players involved in the tournament.
Yeah, because nobody's talking about Peter Wright. No one, upon nobody, is talking about Gary Anderson, someone who has played all of August, great match practice, had a couple of weeks off, didn't play last week in Maastricht or here in Mannheim, and the guy's going to be raring to go, and he's going to be fresh. Gary Anderson, for me, is the danger man next week, but Suljovic, don't count him out.
171.
Also, people will forget, because there's been plenty of darts in between, Anderson will be going in on the back of a victory.
Yeah, Perth Master.
26.
135, the equation in front of the Austrian.
3:06 and 6, perhaps. There's a bull. Treble 19 for double 14. It's very likely. Oh, that would have been 6 of the best darts you will ever see.
150.
Well, McGowan in need of a huge checkout just to get himself even into the contest.
Now he needs a bit of divine intervention, really. It's not often you see Mensah Suljovic on double 7. If he misses double 14, it's usually on the outside. But if you're going to be good at double 14, you might as well practice double 7 as well, just in case you need it. He needed it there, and he's almost angry that he was on it.
Wolf leg, Mensah to throw first.
Oh, we've just seen Kyle Anderson produce a fabulous display, but Mensah Suljovic could be halfway to the finish line and averaging 106.
140.
Well, people that say that Suljovic is slow, I think that's cobblers now. He has visibly sped up. Just like Justin Pipe has over the last few months. You watch his play and there's nothing slow about it. Yes, he's deliberate, but Suljovic, for me, has genuinely halved the amount of time he takes to throw every dart.
95.
When you watch the likes of Raymond van Barneveld in really long format matches, World Championship semi-finals and the like,
140.
the better he gets and the more confident he gets, he speeds up as the game goes on. Does that say that Mensah Suljovic has just grown in confidence, which has allowed him to throw a bit faster and a bit more freely?
I think absolutely right. And I echo the sentiments that I mentioned this time last year, that the World Grand Prix is coming up and you can't count Mensah Suljovic out. He's a dangerous person, especially in a double stop format.
41.
So he's going to be playing some important darts over the next 4 weeks. Watch out, because he's a big threat.
Well, 141's not our favourite finish on the European Tour. It's not going to go, but Suljovic is completely bossing this match. Leg on leg.
He absolutely is. And Mick just can't seem to find his first dart so he can build his scores around it. It just doesn't seem to be happening right now.
And so you require 58.
Double 15, double 14? Nah. 18 for tops, I think. Tops it is for a 4-0. Where's he going to go? Right?
Underneath.
38.
Too far underneath.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see the fan base that Suljovic has in Wales.
20.
He's very popular here in Germany. Be even more popular if it's double 10. 2 5s.
Well,
Definitely underneath this thing.
10.
Well, there was an argument there for busting his score. I don't know where you stand on that kind of thing. Mick McGowan not on a finish.
I've never usually got that luxury, Chris.
100. And so you require 10.
And now he hasn't got a choice. He's got to hit it. There it is.
Charge the full flag.
And there's no headbutt celebrations. There's just an absolute disgust with this performance, even though he's averaging north of 100. I fear to think what Suljovic's practice
83.
does. I mean, averaging over 100 here, I'd be ecstatic with this. And I've heard some stories from people he has practiced with that he does some silly things by hitting so many 180s and crazy outshots that only he could hit.
Yeah, did he not want to hit a 9-darter using the bullseye in every visit?
60.
Yeah, I think it was a 170 in there, a 167 and a 164, something like that.
$60.
Well, I think Mick is going to be very disappointed with his display tonight. He showed some real mettle last night against Martin Schindler, and he was very, very happy when he left the arena around 11:15. And he was genuinely looking forward to this match against Mensah because he thought he could test him but it just hasn't clicked for Mick tonight.
Well, look, the averages there say Mensah Suljovic is 12 points ahead, but all the darts missed at double in the previous leg. He's actually playing much better than that. There is a huge disparity in the performance of these players. Although McGowan has a chance to get off the mark.
It's infuriating as a player, you know, when you've put in not your best performance, then you find a visit like that, you think, where have you been? Double 16 for Mick. Maybe over the top of that one.
60.
He can breathe because Suljovic is not on a finish.
$85. He requires 32. Aim short to the fifth leg.
McGowan does get a leg on the board against the number 3 seed Mensah Suljovic, and a wry smile. He's joined the party late.
You do tend to have that little sigh of relief when you're 4-0 down. I've been there a few times myself, and you think to yourself, just get a leg. Get a start. And Mick's first start, all too often in this match, has been in that 5 segment, whether the treble or the single. And it's been very difficult for him to adjust into the big trebles.
The number 3 seed Mensah Suljovic 2 legs away from a last 16 clash with Rob Cross.
Well, the way that Rob Cross played today, whoever wins this match, they're in trouble.
So number 1 and 2 coming up next. Peter Wright taking on Ronnie Highbrechts before MVG
99.
goes up against Richard North, who is wearing his mouth from the south shirt today.
He said to me earlier on today, Richard North, that he'll either win 6-0 or lose 6-0.
140.
I thought that is just so strange from a sports psychology perspective. I didn't even know where to begin.
Well, McGowan down to a finish and Suljovic not, despite being in front in the leg.
One of those strange things that happens in darts. But you would think 9 times out of 10
100.
Suljovic will be first shot at a double. 134 will leave 36, and he was looking to get 2 treble 19s there to put pressure on that 66 of Suljovic. Be interested to see where he goes here, Chris.
14s perhaps. Oh, he's gone down a more conventional alley.
26.
I fancy he might have gone treble 14 for double 12 there.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I've seen him do that before, but McGowan's got a chance now to all of a sudden just start asking questions of the European Championship finalists.
80.
Maybe too little too late. Although he did miss 3 clear darts from 40 earlier on in the match. That's a long way away.
Something isn't right, you know. He's rubbing his hands with a lot of chalk. There's a few slips happening, and you can see that he's not happy with something that's going on. Now, when he goes back to the table, he'll get that chalk stick out, and he will rub his hands vigorously with it. Now, it's not particularly hot in here,
60.
so maybe the temperature just isn't working with the chalk tonight. Great side angle you can see there with the somewhat ballet-like follow-through of Mensah Suljovic.
43.
Mick McGowan. Very, very still. Great technique. Great stance. And that's the kind of stance that you'd teach in an academy. Just keep your left foot rooted.
Yeah, this one's not, is it? The Mensah mule kick.
Very reminiscent of Peter Manley at his best.
97.
He used to have a little bit of a kick like that. And Richie Bennett's, however, is a whole different world. He's like Rudolf Nureyev.
Where would you start with your analysis?
45.
We haven't got enough time, Chris.
Rich's throw.
We really don't
save
have
that
enough
one
time.
for your dart school, Paul.
Thanks for that.
Just got a little bit flat, hasn't it, from Suljovic? Be unlikely for him not to get over the line. but he's got to go and win it.
Yeah, McGowan's not going to give him it.
55.
That's for sure.
Halfway through, he's averaging north of 100. He's down to the high 80s now.
I've always said, you know, with Suljovic's throw,
92.
that it's all about timing. And if one of those small idiosyncrasies of his, the strange grip, the leg kick, if the timing's off, his game would come down. And tonight, it has not been vintage Suljovic. But there have been encouraging signs. I think he's played
96.
in patches a little bit better than last week. And it looks like it will still be enough.
Well, 114 would be the highest checkout and the only ton plus checkout. So can he end with a highlight? Just let himself leave the stage a little happier. No, it's only a setup.
86.
Well, if Mick McGowan can't take this 148, Suljovic will come back for his favourite. It's likely that he'll hit it, and it'll be a fascinating interview. It will be in German.
So you require 28.
Inevitable. Well, he hit double 7 earlier on. That was a long way away from his favourite double, but that is in the bed. Suljovic gets the job done. It wasn't sparkling, not the kind of darts we saw like Kyle Anderson before him, but Mensur Suljovic is through all the same. The number 3 seed may well have to raise his game if he's going to overcome Rob Cross in the last 16 tomorrow afternoon. Just talking back through the game with Mick McGowan, but Suljovic is the man who makes it through to the final day of action here at the Happy Bet German Darts Grand Prix. We'll grab a word with him in German with Elmar Polka, and then 4-time European Tour champion this year, Snakebite Peter Wright, the crowd favourite, and the number 2 seed takes on Ronnie Huybrechts.
So, Mensur, gewinnst ein Match mit 6-1, aber ich habe den Eindruck, du bist nicht zufrieden.
Absolut nicht zufrieden. Ich möchte zuerst wirklich meine Frau und mein Kind, ich habe 18.8. ist meine Emma auf der Welt gekommen und jetzt ich bin wirklich, wirklich so froh. Danke euch, guys, danke. Und
Jeder, der Nachwuchs zu Hause hat, weiß, wenn da ein kleiner Wurm auf die Welt kommt, verändert das Leben, verändert den Schlafrhythmus, da ist alles ein bisschen anders.
danke, ich schlafe keine Nächte, aber ich bin stolz, dass ich meine kleine Emma auf meinem Schoß habe und meine Frau und mein Taki, muss ich mal sagen. Und ganz normal, jeder muss ja durch diese Situation durchkommen und ich gebe mein Bestes. Leider im Moment passt nicht, aber ich gebe mein Bestes.
Nein, Gratulation zum Nachwuchs. Aber du sprichst es gerade an, es ist gar nicht so einfach, den normalen Trainingsrhythmus aufrechtzuerhalten. Und du bist jemand, der viel trainieren muss, damit er seine Form hat.
Leider, ich trainiere jeden Tag. Jetzt habe ich 14 Tage keine Training gehabt. Ich hoffe, ich komme wieder in den Rhythmus, aber es wird sehr, sehr schwierig, wenn die Leute sind wirklich top, alle. Und ich gebe einfach mein Bestes. Leider bin ich im Moment zu schwach, aber ich gebe mein Bestes.
Nein. Wenn du in so einer Phase bist, wie fährt man zu so einem Wochenende hin? Was hast du für eine Erwartung? Was ist so das Mindestziel, was du als Nummer 7 der Welt erreichen möchtest?
Ich möchte mich nur ausschlafen. Ich habe keine Nächte geschlafen. Ich möchte mich nur ausschlafen. Ich habe immer mit meiner Frau diskutiert, jede Wochenende Turnier. Und jetzt freue ich mich auf das Turnier, dass ich schlafen kann.
Ach so, verstehe. Ansonsten warst du genervt und jetzt bist du froh, endlich losfahren zu können. Na, das ist schön. Mensur, wir freuen uns, dass wir dich morgen wiedersehen. The Gentle Mensur Suljovic. Auf dass er heute Nacht gut schläft und morgen fit ist, wenn er hier wieder auf die Bühne kommt. Und damit sind wir gleich bei dem